You're welcome.
Of course, the program is this morning on ITV. That clip that you have watched is all that, or some of the things that the NDLEA is doing through the eyes of its current DG, General Buba Marwa, retired. And of course, we're going to look at that onslaught and what drug dealers are doing to actually fight back. And to do this, I have with me the spokesman for the agency, Femi Babafemi. Very good morning and welcome.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah, I'm sure we watched that together with you, and we made some comments behind the camera. And so I want to ask you, what happened? Why do we have a new face of the NDLEA?
Well, you already rightly put it. Definitely, with the coming of General Marwa in January this year as the chairman, chief executive of the agency, he's brought quite a lot of motivation, and this motivation is also derived from the support from the president and the commander-in-chief, because there is no head of any agency that can actually do anything on his own if the political will, the support from the highest authority is not there. So with the support of the president to General Marwa, he's been able to motivate the workforce. It's still the same fantastic officers and men of the agency that he met on ground that are still doing the work now. It's just that he's impacted his leadership traits, skills on them to motivate them and push them. And I remember what he actually said when he resumed January 18 this year, that he was going to introduce or bring on board a new maxim of offensive action. Offensive action in the sense that the agency will no longer wait till drug traffickers or barons come to their doorstep. You are going to take the battle to them, and that's exactly what the agency is doing at the moment across the country. Everywhere, every day, there is hardly any command of the agency that does not make 1, 2, 3 arrests every day. So probably what we issue out is just a tip of exactly what is happening. That also shows us the depth this problem had gone in our society, because but fortunately these efforts are already yielding good results. Now quite a number of people are now conscious. They are now aware of the enormity of the problem. They are now aware that especially the authorities, they are now aware that there is a strong nexus between the volume of drugs out there and the state of insecurity we have across the country, because nobody in his right senses will go all out to commit heinous crimes, especially kidnapping, killing people, taking hundreds of school pupils from their dormitory in the night into the forest. You know, such people must have used or taken some mind-altering substances. In this case, the common ones, cannabis, whatever. Then you have the opioids, you have tramadol, you have Swinol, you have quite a number of other unconventional drugs, the squishes, the monkey tail, you know, whatever. I mean,
the monkey tail is it will be difficult for it to track.
Yeah, no, the monkey tail is it's a mixture
done outside. Can be done anywhere.
Yeah, definitely it's a mixture that have as a major component cannabis, the one we refer to as Indian hemp, you know, with some local herbs and what have you. And when they take these things, they can't. Their humanity is debased. You know, you don't have human feelings, because, for instance, if you are normal, if you are in your right senses, you will find it difficult to go and abduct people that are traveling on on going on their journey, or children that are in their school, you will think, I have kids who are probably within the age bracket of these ones at home. Would I like it if somebody goes to take my own kid from their home, something like that? But the moment they take these things, there is no human feeling there again. Their sense of reasoning is already altered.
Okay, now the arrests that we have seen appears to be those that are retailers, so to speak, because like that woman going to Italy, having those substance in, hair what do you call it?
Hair cream relaxer.
Hair cream relaxer. She may not be the only person.
Definitely.
There may be many others who have taken that same consignment, so to speak. So while we have seen a good work, from the NDLEA against the retailers, what about the wholesalers, the distributors, those that, what do you call it now?
The barons,
the kingpins themselves, the barons.
Yeah.
How come we have not seen? We have not seen arrests of
no.
We have not seen them being arrested.
No, we have seen quite a number of arrests in that regard. It's just that they are not as many as you see. Normally, in a chain, you have a hub and you have the branches. So in most cases you see the branches because they are more than the hub. Now you would have seen a recent, let me quickly remind you, you will see recently, one of them is actually facing charges. A whole vice chairman of a local government in Lagos, who, I don't want to say too much because the matter is before the court already. You can't say that is just
we are aware of it, but we're not mentioning names, but
yeah,
it's a reality.
Yeah. Now, beyond that, you would also see one that we even had to, who was based in Brazil. Recently, we had to lure him back because he sent a huge consignment of cocaine back home, and in the mix there were quite some other small elements. Those ones, if we had arrested those ones, you probably think, okay, these are the tribal. But we waited. We played along with them. They brought money. They offered bribe in thousands of dollars. Our men, to be able to get to the kingpin himself, they collected the bribe and even asked for more. So that made the kingpin himself a bit comfortable that, okay, and even that made him comfortable. He even offered to bring the money requested for on his way back from Brazil. And so when he got in, he still attempted to offer more, and that was the point he was arrested. The fellow had been charged to court at the moment. Then when you also see, there was also one recently, another fellow who is wanted at the moment anyway, who also brought in heroin worth over 6.5 billion naira. We tracked that and were able to, we did what we called controlled delivery. That is, we released the drug and trailed the fellow and followed them up to the point of delivery. But obviously, he had a counter surveillance around his residence, and in the course of that delivery, he was able to escape. But at the moment, we're tracking him, and we're very sure we're going to get him. So we have, such series of such cases.
But in the case of cannabis, the people call it grass. It's weed.
Yeah,
you understand. And there are people, it's their specialty. They know how to cultivate it. Have you taken the fight to the various farmlands?
Oh, I'm sure if there is anything we have done more, because those ones, they are not things we can except in few cases where we've had to take the media to those forests. Don't forget that these things are not done around residential areas. They are done. They are planted far in the forest. I mean, some forest that you will need to trek. They are not motorable. They are not places you can drive to. You have to trek for like 3, 4, 5 hours to get there. So we've had we're doing that virtually every day. That I can assure you. Hundreds and thousands of hectares of cannabis farmlands. We're destroying them every day. The president himself, especially on June 26th, during the launch of War Against Drug Abuse, WADA, the president did give NDLA that categorical order to go into the forest. And fortunately, prior to even the presidential order, the chairman had mobilized the officers and men to go into all the forest and destroy any cannabis farmland. And that's exactly what the agency is doing at the moment. I can also tell you, even to support, to enhance that particular assignment, the chairman had to sort of bring up a strike force, a well-armed unit in the agency to back, because going to the forest, you need quite a number of times our men come under attack, and so we need some strong force to be able to enter into those places. And that's why at the moment he's been able to assemble well-trained, well-armed men to be able to support these teams going into the forest. We have what we call the strike force at the moment, headed by a director in the agency.
Okay, let's go a little bit practical. In all that we have been saying, our viewers, some of them will read their mind, they would want to ask you. But yes, the work is fine.
Yeah.
But it appears that there are some hangouts, even in the city center, where you see cars parked and exchange money, with the substance. You understand? All over the town, you just see them. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to mention name of a place.
No, there are
places. There are so many. So how come NDLEA is not found in that area?
No, you may not be able to draw that conclusion, because I know, for instance, if we mention Abuja today, we can list these areas. Just this past week, I saw the clip on your station here, where the hub supplying, there is a community that border Nasarawa and Abuja. That's the hub where you have quite a lot of drug joints, and from there drugs moving into Abuja. Our command in Nasarawa mobilized heavily with the support of the military and went in there, set the place on fire, arrested over 41 people. I'm sure it was on your TV. So now, as if we are there, but we do a lot of don't forget that our work is intelligence based. We don't just move with the hope to go and just arrest just one person. And when you arrest, in some cases, if you don't do your homework very well, you may not find negligible quantity of substance. Which
but do you is that not issue that should be dealt with?
Yes, what I'm saying.
No matter the quantity.
No, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a gram, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, we do a lot of homework to be able to mop. You see, you have to watch and know, because if for an arrest, for a seizure, you have to know in the course of our investigation. That's why when an arrest is made in NDLA today, you won't see that released in the media in a day or two, except in some exceptional cases.
Except you are done with your investigation.
Yeah, we see when an arrest or a seizure is made, it still takes some days, because we need to trace that substance to its origin. Where did it come from? This person we caught with this thing, where did they buy it from? Now, if he bought it from B, where did B? Yeah, we get B. Where did B get it from? So we try to trace it. So it's a whole lot of investigation. We try to trace, and if, for instance, if you are talking of Abuja, you want to talk of I'm sure.
Like what
Thank
you
God.
see.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's what we
that's
have.
a community where you all those structures you have there. They are all joints where people go to buy, and they had the audacity within the surrounding bushes there. They planted cannabis, growing it there. So, but we destroyed everything. So it's not as if we're everywhere, all over the town. And even in some cases, we are now establishing NDLA post there, outpost there, so that to enable us monitor developments and moving immediately. That's being proactive, moving immediately to arrest. So we follow all these trends, but let's also be fair. You see, this thing, NDLA is saddled, is the lead agency in drug supply reduction, so we have a responsibility to make sure that we cut accessibility to these illicit substances. But then, let's also not forget that it's not something we can do all alone. We need everybody. We need this, because ultimately we're all victims. If we don't, that's why the NDLA chairman today is promoting and launching the war against drug abuse, WADA. The whole essence of that is to mobilize everybody, the entire citizenry, faith-based organizations, community-based organizations, religious-based organizations, the citizens, all stakeholders, to buy in and take ownership of the fight. See it as a fight for your life. Don't see it as a fight for General Marwa. Don't see it as NDLA fight. Don't see it as President Muhammadu Buhari's fight. See it as my own fight, because if you don't get involved, if you don't see, when you see something going wrong in your neighborhood, you should be able to give. Fortunately, we are glad Nigerians are getting to understand the dangers of these substances. So they are coming up with information, and that's why I tell you that our work is intelligence based. We need information, we act on information. And so it's when we have people buying into it, and that's why we're asking that people would set up these WADA committees in their different communities, so that at that level, then on their own, they will know, because within the community, you know who is who. You know who is coming to sell drugs in your community. You know who is consuming. So you have a responsibility to call such people to order, and if they fail to yield to heed, then you hand them over to NDLA or a law enforcement agency to deal with. So that's exactly what we're doing, because we believe that this thing is a winnable war, and it must be won.
Okay, a very good one there. Now, let's look at any kind of collaboration you have with, with any body, any organization, any government here and in abroad. Do you have any?
Absolutely. When you talk about that, like I told you,
because like you have mentioned, the war must be taken by everybody.
Everybody.
So if everyone must be part of that war, you must take the first step of reaching out to those people and say, please come, let us fight this war together. Absolutely.
We have quite a lot of partnerships, collaboration. When you talk of here in Nigeria, of course, we work with law enforcement agencies, including the armed forces. So because we at one point or the other, like I just told you, in the operation carried out in Nasarawa last week, where those drug joints were destroyed, you can see a number of soldiers supporting the agency in the operation. The same way we have other law enforcement agencies that we have to work with in some situations, and where we need extra manpower to carry out some operations. But beyond that, again, we share intelligence. We get intelligence from other security agencies. We share with them also. Then, talking of partners out there, definitely, you see, when these things are coming, we know when they are coming, either through our airports or seaports, because we work in partnership with other organizations.
What about the land borders?
Yeah, for instance, you would have seen situations where quite a number of these traffickers scared of going through our airports. They have had to travel through the land borders, and then they have had us to contend. We've arrested quite a number of them through the land border. Even on our waterways, we've arrested quite a number of them. So all that, and I can also tell you, even within our country here, we're forming quite a number of partnerships with a number of stakeholders. Like as I speak with you, I know that by tomorrow is Tuesday, the chairman will be meeting with a number of stakeholders that we have that he had brought together under a special purpose committee. Here you have professionals, medical doctors, civil society organizations, women groups, quite a number of them coming together to form a special purpose committee, and these are people doing quite a lot of work in the area of the fight against drug trafficking and drug abuse in our country. We will be meeting with them just to again mobilize them and work with them to see how we can move forward in this whole effort, especially when it comes to the recently launched war against drug abuse. So quite a number of partnership, and now we're still open to more, because like I said, it's not something we can do alone. It's something that the entire citizenry itself needs to buy into and take ownership of it. Because when we take ownership of it, we take it personal. We don't have to wait till somebody comes to our neighborhood to do something for us before and we're glad that quite a number of community associations these days, they come together and monitor what happens in their neighborhood, in their environment, in their community, and when it goes beyond what they can handle, they invite us and we move in and do the needful.
Some of these drug merchants, at different times believe that they take care of these issues internally among your men, and there are some, those that have compromised the agency. Your colleagues. Yeah. So how many of them have you arrested?
I wouldn't want to be defensive in this case, but I can tell you that if that had happened in the past, it's no longer possible now. As I know that.
Okay, it happened in the past.
If it had happened in the past, don't forget remember if it had happened in the past, it's something that is no longer possible now, because just this last week, the chairman gathered all the commanders across the country, and these are some of the issues. He meets them periodically, and these are some of the issues.
Does he raise the issue?
He discussed with them.
He's aware that there are
what I'm saying is this.
Some of his officers are compromising the effort of the agency.
What I'm saying is this. Let's not draw conclusion. What he is saying, or what he said to them was, look, in the course of this work, there might be some people who may want to do this, but know that I have my eyes there. That in every command, apart from getting briefings directly from you, the commanders, I have other sources through which I know what happens. So, if anything goes wrong, the person who has done the wrong thing will not only be severely punished, you as the head who ought to know and take action, you would also pay for it. So it's just putting everybody on their toes. We don't want to wait until we say, till something goes wrong. That's being proactive. It's not as if something has been established. He's just being proactive, because it's a human organization, and in a human organization you could find some,
of course,
those kind of things. So that's why it's not as if he's established or somebody has been caught. No, he's just thinking ahead. In case something like this happens, know that it's not only the person that will be liable, you as the head of that place would also be held responsible. And honestly, that's the way to run, that's the way to provide leadership, that I believe.
Okay, well, that's noted. A very good defense there. But let's look at an aspect that many people, travelers, really don't find it funny with your men on the way. For those in this high capacity vehicle, the luxury buses,
luxury buses,
or the Hummer buses, most time if you are coming in, you just discover that they are stopped, and everyone in that bus must bring his or her luggage. And most time you see your men searching even up to the corners in the bar. It delays their movement.
Yeah.
It's,
let's for us yeah.
And there's no any form of compensation for that. While that is happening, you see some exotic cars, passing, and your men are scared of stopping them. Why?
No, let's also be fair here. Yes, there have been instances, several, that the so-called exotic cars
carrying the substance
were stopped. I mean, there have been pictures. It's something you Google, jeeps. If you up till the statement we issued yesterday, is just that we only brought out the faces of the individuals, but the jeeps used to courier such. In the case of the ex-military officer that you saw, their faces, they were riding in Land Cruiser. They were stopped, and the jeep confiscated, seized. So it's not as if it's not. There is nothing.
That officer that stopped them really has the guts.
Yeah, no, it's the work. It's the law. It's the law. So then, when it comes to you see, let me tell you something. Like I said before, our work is intelligence based. We don't just move without information, or some substantial suspicion. And you see what we discover is this: the people doing this thing, when they see you stopping some high caliber vehicles, they won't want to risk losing their own freedom and losing their own vehicles. So they tend to move into commercial vehicles where just like you are complaining now, we don't want to stop a whole luxury bus where you have more than 50 people, all those kind of things.
Bring out their bags.
Yeah, it's part. It's psychology. You understand? So, and in most cases, you would have seen some of these things discovered inside. I'm telling you, in most cases, because we don't just go out on the road. We work on information, we work on intelligence. So in some of these cases, it's just that we're doing this for the benefit of our people. So they have to understand, they have to bear with us, it's a sacrifice that we'll have to make. The officers, some of those officers stand on that road 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., expecting the vehicles to come, because they are working on intelligence. So they are human beings, they are Nigerians. It's not convenient for them as well. So we don't know, we may not know exactly who the person carrying that thing is, but we know this particular vehicle has something. So we need to search everything through, and in most cases the intelligence works out. So that is why you say that on the road.
So how do you compensate those that are innocent?
That's what I'm saying. It's a sacrifice that we all have to make to protect us. Okay, let's look at it this way. If because you don't want your time to be wasted, we allow everything to move, and these drugs get into the hands of bandits. Don't forget the way these things are moving. They are moving towards a particular section for a particular set of people, usually bandits. And now, the next time the bandits have these drugs, they have something to embolden them to commit more atrocity. The next time you are moving on that road, you have these bandits ambush you. Which one will be better?
So what if we have your men,
Yeah.
At various motor parks, ensuring that these vehicles are clean, and we have to an extent monitor the loading, and then you have this communication. Wouldn't that work?
That is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, that we work on intelligence. We work on at the point of loading, there is an informant.
So at that
There's an
point,
undercover.
at that point of loading,
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
Okay,
It doesn't
okay.
work like that. It doesn't work like that.
I see.
Otherwise, they will beat you to it.
Oh.
Do you understand? It doesn't work like that. You see, these things, there is, I mean, it's not all the details we can be discussing.
No, of course,
on here.
I mean, it's really enlightening.
Yeah, they are
I'm sure even our
yeah, they are
viewers too
complex. In some of these,
have one of these.
yeah, in some of these
marking.
places you refer to, we have undercover agents, informants, and what have you. People you even take to be non-entities, maybe NDLA undercover agents, you know, doing all manner of gathering intelligence. So that's just let's continue to do this and make sure that we sanitize the country, we mop up because when you talk of mopping up more than 2 million kilograms of drugs within a span of 5 months, that's huge. That is huge. More than 2 million kilograms of drugs and more than 5,000 arrests. That is huge.
That is really huge. And viewers, if you're just joining us, the program is this morning on ITV, and we are looking at the fight against drugs and the position of the drug dealers, you know, fighting back. You know, like the president will say, they are fighting corruption, and corruption is fighting back. NDLA is fighting, illicit drug, and the dealers are equally fighting back. But we must support NDLEA to actually win this war. It's not only the fact that they need to make this arrest and prosecute, but if you look at the economic implication, it's really, really terrible. Somebody who is high on some of this substance actually got a bank, carried his father's, the document of his father's house in a high-brow area of his country, and collected loan from the bank unknown to the father. It's as a result of, you know, the quest to ingest this drug and, of course, to, you know, take this substance. You see, that has cost the father his hard-earned investment. That's the only property they have, and it's just gone.
Absolutely.
That property has been taken over by AMCOM. There's nothing they can do. Train your kids very well. And of course, you know, when this thing also happened, it make them go gaga, in quote, make them mentally unstable. And when that happens too, it dips a hole in the family's income. So NDLA at this time is doing just what we have been expecting for so many years. So I ask again, Mr. Babafemi, this fight, tell us how it will be sustained even after General Bubomo.
Yeah, the necessary, like I started from saying that whatever General Marwa is doing in NDLA today it wouldn't have been possible if he had not gotten the support of the president. And I can tell you that the political will is there from the president, from the highest authority in the country, because recently I'll state some things here. The agency, the workforce had been demoralized. Their morale was low at a point because quite a number of allowances and all those stuff were being held, including death benefits and burial expenses of some late officers. But the president was magnanimous enough. Recently, he approved payment for all those things, and these are the things.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, these are the things that motivate the workforce, the staff. And when you have these things in place, now with the structures being put in place by the current leadership of the agency, we believe that if this goes on for another 5 years and maybe another 10 years, this momentum is sustained, then we would be talking of a different thing. But in another 10 years, if we go on the way we are going now, then we'll probably not we'll probably have, if not totally eradicated, we'll probably have reduced to the barest minimum. Number one thing is the political will. When the political will is there, then the leadership will be able to work without any encumbrances, without any fear, and the workforce would also be well motivated, because when you see your leader, when you see your boss working round the clock, you have no option. You can't be a layback where you see somebody working around the clock to make sure that things go on well and go right. I'm sure if you know the kind of person General Marwa is, you cannot be lazy around him.
All right, so I must say thank you for your time with us on the program.
It's my
this
pleasure.
morning on ITV. And viewers, honestly, it's very, very interesting talking to the Director, Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, Femi Baba Femi. We just hope that this fight will be sustained. Even the DG was at the launch of a survey done by UNIDO and the Federal Ministry of Health, where it was said that 14.3 million Nigerians are neck deep into drug abuse. I'm sure it's one of the reasons why he's actually taking this fight personally. And we hope that when the next survey is done, that number, 14.3 million, will be, will definitely reduce with what we are saying. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break now. When we come back, the program this morning on ITV will continue.